Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into another exciting project inspired by some fantastic work over on Dribble. We're taking a closer look at a design called Fake Q by James, which features these awesome expandable cards with questions and answers. We'll be building a similar interactive Fake Q section from scratch, using some cool CSS tricks and a bit of JavaScript. We'll also be leveraging Font Awesome for icons, but instead of just dropping them directly into our HTML, we'll use Unicode values to keep things sleek and clean. The CSS part will be our main focus as we style and position everything perfectly. Then we'll add some simple JavaScript to make these cards functional, so you can easily open and close each tab to reveal the answers. Stick around till the end to see the full process, and make sure to follow along step by step. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you find this helpful. And if you're enjoying our content, check out our 100-day challenge project playlist for more creative coding projects. Alright, let's get started and bring this design to life.
Okay, so we're going to get started on our FAQ project. So I just have my project starter, but I also have a link to the Font Awesome CDN. So you can, grab this from the repository or from fontawesome.com or from cdnjs.com. And then for the title here, let's say FAQ, and then in the body, we're going to have an H1 and say frequently asked questions. And right under the H1, we're going to have a container. Let's call this FAQ-container. And inside here, we're going to have our FAQ divs. And whichever ones are showing the answer will have a class of active. Okay, so I'm only going to put active on the first one for now. And you can have more than one active at the same time. It's not like the expanding the expanding tabs that we do, or expanding cards, whatever. So in here, in the FAQ, we're going to have a title, so h3.faq-title. Let's say, why shouldn't we trust atoms? And then we're going to have a paragraph with the class of FAQ-text. And this will basically be the answer. We'll say they everything. So these are just like stupid little jokes. Of course, you can change it to whatever you'd like. Then we want our button. Now we're going to have either a chevron down button if it's retracted, and if it's expanded, we'll have an X button or times button. So let's do an I tag here. So FAS Font Awesome, FA-chevron dash down, and under that we're going to have an FA dash times, and then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now we're going to have 3 more of these, or 4 total. So I'm just going to paste these in and go still with the container, but right under the first. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you. You can grab these. You don't want to just copy them from here. You can grab them from basically just FAQ, title, text, and 2 buttons. Now let's jump into the style sheet. And as far as the font goes, it is Moan font, CSS, question mark, family, and set that. Notice in the body, set that font. You could do this like display flex, center it and all that, but I'm going to just center it directly on the container, so I'm just going to add a background here up at 0 3 times, it's like gray. And then for the H1, let's set we'll do 50 pixels tall. Right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. Center the container, so remember we have FAQ that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. 600 pixels. You and I. Only you. Keep it in the middle. Right now, it's stuck on the edge. You want to keep it in the middle, so it's set the margin 0 for top and bottom, and auto on the left and right. We're just going to keep it at 600 pixels.
absolute within the FAQ. And let's add an overflow of hidden so that nothing comes out of the container. Also, we want a smooth transition when we open and close or expand and collapse. So let's add a transition. And we'll just do 0.3 seconds ease. So basically anything that can transition will in this amount of time. Now for the FAQ that's active, let's say FAQ, if it has the class of active, then I want to set a background color of white. And the first one is active, so it's background color of white. I also want to give it a background icon, actually two background icons positioned in a certain way. Now, we know how to put Font Awesome icons in directly in the HTML with specific classes. We can also insert them with CSS. If you've never done this before, go to fontawesome.com and we search for an icon. I want comment. And let's check out this right. Actually, there's this one right here, comment. So if you notice, it gives you the class, so we can directly insert it in the HTML. We also get this Unicode value of F075. Every icon has a different value. So we can actually use this to insert an icon in CSS. So I want to have actually two of these comment icons as a background here on active. One thing I did forget is the box shadow, which I'm just going to paste in. So it's just two shadows with 0 on the horizontal offset, 3 vertical, 6 blur, and then this is the color. But back to the icons, where I'm going to add the CSS for this is a before and after pseudo selector for FAQ factors. So if I just say : I can pass in a content value here. I can put anything I want below. So before this FAQ active, you can see it's inserting hello. I can also use after. So I'm going to also say FAQ active after. And now you can see hello after. Now, instead of using text here for content, we're going to put in that Unicode character. Now when you use Font Awesome like this and you put in the Unicode, you want to use a backslash and then whatever the code is, which in our case is F075. Now if I just save that, we're just going to see this square because we need to include the font family for Font Awesome, which is actually going to be font space awesome space 5 space free. And now if I save that, you can see that I've inserted those two icons. Now we obviously want to style this. Let's go ahead and add a color here, hexadecimal 2ECC71. Let's give it that green color. Let's set the font size and set that to 7 rem units, which makes it much bigger. So it's basically 7 times whatever the root HTML element font size is, which initially is 16 pixels. So in addition to that, we want to position absolute. And let's set, I don't want them to be so dark, so let's set the opacity here to 0.2. Lighter. For the position, let's say from the top, 20 pixels. Remember, this is for both before and after. So what we're doing now is positioning them both in the same place, but then we'll grab one of them and move it a little bit. So top 20 pixels, left 20 pixels. And if we save that, it looks like there's only one, but they're actually both just in the same exact position. And I want to set a z-index of 0 so that we make sure that it's behind everything else. Now, like I said, they're both in the same position, so what I'll do is take the one that's before, so I'm just going to grab this class, or this selector, and I'm going to change the color of it to, let's do 3, 4, 9, 8, color. And let's set the position top. So remember, it's already positioned absolutely right here, so we don't have to add that here. We want to change these coordinates. So top, say negative 10 pixels. Up, negative 10 pixels from here. And then left, let's do negative 30 pixels. So now I'll save that. You can see that that's been. Another thing that I want to do is rotate it, because right now the little point is over here off the screen. I want to basically turn it around. So we can use transform translate for that. So let's say transform, and it's not translate, I'm sorry, rotate. Because we want to rotate this on the y-axis, so it's going to be rotate y, and let's rotate it halfway, so 180 degrees. And now if I save, you can see that this blue one has been rotated. Now we could have just as well used the comments icon, this one right here, which looks very similar, and we could have just done before and added it, but this makes it a little more interesting using you know, multiple icons and just positioning them differently. So you could do whatever you want as a background here or in anything that you could. So now what I want to do is the title and the text here. Title, FAQ. For the title, all I want to do is add margin 0 to 35 left. And for the text, say FAQ-text. So for this, I'm just going to add a margin here. But I don't want this to show unless it has the active font. So let's initially set this to display none. And now we can't see any of the text. However, if it's active, so FAQ active and text, then we want to display. Now we can only see the answer for the one that's active. Okay, if I were to add active on another one, like this one here, if I add that class of active, that's going to give it all those properties, and it's going to show the question. I'm sorry, the answer is. Now I'm going to stop here, and in the next video we're going to handle these buttons, because we only want the X to show if it's active, we only want the chevron to show if it's not, and it's going to style them, and then we'll add a little bit of JavaScript to be able to click and expand each of them. Alright, so now we want to style these buttons, these icon buttons, position them, we want to give functionality to them so we can expand and contract these FAQs. So we have a class of FAQ-toggle on the button, and obviously we don't want to show the chevron if it's expanded, and we don't want to show the X if it's not expanded. So we're going to have to deal with that. But let's just do some basic stuff here first, like the background color I'm going to set to transparent, and take away the border, set that to 0. Let's set the cursor to a pointer. Let's set, I'm actually going to display flex here, and then align and justify to the center. So align items, center, and justify content, center. Increase the font size, so we'll increase that to 16 pixels, and then we're going to set padding to 0, let's set position absolutes, and then as far as where we want to put these, the initial toggle is going to be top 30 pixels, 30 pixels from the top, it's going to be on the right, so let's do 30 pixels from the right, and then the height 30 pixels width. Save that. Now you can see these buttons over here. As far as this first one, I forgot to put the class on it, so it should be class FAQ-toggle. Alright, so I'm going to set the X right here, the times, to display none. So So FAQ-toggle, which is the button, and then not dash, so FAQ-toggle, and then the class of FA-times, which is the X icon. I'm going to set that to display none. Now we only see the chevron. Now if it's active, we do want to see the times, so let's just copy this. And here we're going to say, let's put active in front, so FAQ dot active. And then times, and then let's display block. So now you can see that this is the X is showing on the active. Now we want to remove the chevron if it's active, so let's take this and let's set FA active, so toggle, and then we want chevron dash down, and we want to display there. So now we only see the chevron if it's not active. Another thing I want to do is get rid of this outline here. So that's going to be FAQ-toggle, which is the button. I'm going to say its focus state. We want the outline property to be set to 0. Also on the active toggle, let's grab this here. So on the active toggle, I'm going to set a background color. Hexadecimal value 9FA for 8. So you can see the X has that background. I want that to be rounded or circular, so I'm going to add on the FA toggle a border radius of 50%, and then I also want to make the text or the icon white if it's
thinking about all the things we did tonight, all the time to be alive.
Alright, so now we want to make this function, but what I'd like you to do is pause the video and try this yourself. If you don't need any hints at all, then go ahead and pause it now and try it. If you want some hints, I'm going to just place this in for a second. So you want to bring in your toggle buttons, under the class of FAQ-toggle, and you want to use query selector all because it's more than one. So that will create a node list. You want to loop through that node list using for region, and then on each toggle you want to add an event listener, a quick event listener, and then you want to toggle the active class on the parent. You don't want to add the active class to this toggle. You want to add it on the parent, which is this div here. Okay, and you can use .parent node to access it. And then to toggle a specific class, you can use classes toggle and class. So this should give you enough information to really know how to do this. So if you want to pause it and go ahead and try it, do that. So I'm going to bring in my toggles. I set toggles to document dot. We want to use query selector all. And we have a class of FAQ-toggle. And then I'm going to take that node list and I'm going to loop through with for each. So I'll say for each toggle, I want to take that specific toggle and add an event listener onto it. I'm going to listen for a click event, and when that happens, I'm going to run a function and take the toggle, which is the button, and I want to access the parent node. So we can say .parent node. And I want to access the class list, and then call the, we want to call the toggle method, and we want to toggle class, and that's it. So very, very simple. Go over here, and I click on that, it's going to take away the active class. If I click it again, it's going to put it back. So toggle that. This, and I can open them all if I want. It doesn't have to be one by one or whatever. Open nodes if you want. Okay, and that's it. And this is something that back when I was learning how to do this stuff, you would use jQuery for most likely, because JavaScript just wasn't where it is today. The query selector all didn't even exist. It was a lot of extra code just to do something simple. So, I mean, if you're learning JavaScript now, it's much better than it was back in the day when you had to use jQuery, the smallest little just activity in the DOM. But that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I will see you in the next project.